Okay, we're still on Unit 1, whole number operations. The last lesson we talked about addition. In this lesson, we will be talking about subtraction, and today only with whole numbers. Okay? So in this lesson, we will review subtraction with whole numbers using guided examples. And by the end of the lesson, you should be able to independently calculate the difference of two numbers using standard algorithm. Okay, there's a couple words on here that I want to talk about to make sure you understand them. One of the words that I want to talk about is this word right here. Can you guys read that word? Difference. Raise your hand if you have an idea what that means in this context, in math.
Answer to a division problem.
Oh, I think you got one word off. You were
Subtraction.
to a subtraction problem. Answer to a subtraction problem. Yes. Okay. So difference is like the difference from one number to the next, right? Does that make sense if we're taking one number away from another number?
Yes.
Right. We're finding the difference between the two numbers, aren't we? Okay. So let's talk about another word. Standard algorithm. Standard algorithm. Raise your hand if you think you have an idea what that might mean. What do you think, Adam?
Division?
Kind of, but no. We have a standard algorithm for division. What do you think?
Division, multiply, subtract, and add.
Okay, now those are operations. And we have a standard algorithm for each of those operations. What do you think, Liam?
A technique?
Oh, that's a great word. It's a technique for doing it. Do you guys know what technique means?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah? Okay, so it's a way of doing something. The standard way of doing something means the way that most people do it, right? It's the standard. Are there other ways to do things? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we're going to make sure that we understand the standard way to do it, okay? So let's look at our vocabulary for this lesson. Only one word, difference, and we already discussed it. Answer to a subtraction problem. So if I were to label a problem, the difference would be on the bottom there. It's our answer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So let's move on. We're going to do some examples together, and then we'll do some on our own. Do you guys recognize that chart?
Yes.
Yeah, we used that same chart for our addition problems, didn't we? Now we're going to use that chart in a different way. Our question for number 1 says, how many more cars were produced in the United States than Japan? There are 3 words in that problem that I know for sure are going to tell me I've got to subtract. What 3 words? What do you think?
More.
Okay, that's one word. What 3 words? More is one of them. Liam?
How many more?
How many more? Yes. So I want you to kind of circle or something. How many more? How many more? How many more? How much taller? How much longer? How much older? Those are the kinds of things where we're usually going to be subtracting, right? So how many more in this particular problem tells me I need to subtract. Now there's a couple pieces of information in this problem that tell me which part of my chart I need to use. Because this chart has extra information, doesn't it? We're not using the whole thing. So what tells me the parts of the chart I need to use?
The United States and Japan.
United States and Japan. Okay, so I'm going to underline those. I'm looking for the United States and Japan. So United States and Japan. And we've already discussed that we need to subtract to find the difference between those two numbers. Now, in addition, we've got some rules, don't we? What was the rule we had when we're writing the problem down and getting ready to do it? Yep.
We have to stack them.
We have to stack them. Is there a particular way we've got to stack them?
Yes. In a straight line.
In a straight line. Okay, there's something else that's really important.
One's to like 1,000,000 or 10.
Okay. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Whenever, because the ones go up by, because it goes 10, 100.
Okay, so you're kind of getting to it. You're talking about different place values, right? What do we have to do with those place values?
We're going to subtract them and we're going to put the bigger number on top.
Oh, that's important too. That's a different rule. We have to put the bigger number on top. But what's important about the place values when we're setting it up, Liam?
Line them up.
Line them up how?
Like one's column and ten's column.
Ones column, tens column, hundreds column. So we've got to make sure that our place values are lined up. We can't line it up to the left because it won't always work. We have to line it up with place values over the same place value, right? And just like Derek said, we have to have the bigger number on the top for subtraction. Doesn't matter which one's on the top for addition, but in subtraction, it's super important you get the bigger number on top. Which number goes on top? The bigger number. Now, out of these two numbers, which one is bigger? United States or Japan? United States. So right now, I want you to set up your problem on your note space on your own. Set it up the right way. Did you all get that? Setting it up. Okay, now some of you have already started subtracting, but I want us to do it together to make sure we all understand the standard algorithm. So what are the first numbers we need to subtract in this problem? Jalen, do you know?
7 and 8.
The 7 and 8. Okay, so everybody shout out, 7 minus 8 is?
7, 1, yeah. You have to borrow.
Oh, we can't do that. You're absolutely right. We have to, what was that word? Borrow, which is what we call regrouping and subtraction. So we've got to look at the next door neighbor in the tens place, and we have to borrow from the tens place. So we're going to take 1 away from the 8. That makes it a 7. And we add that 10 to the 7 to make it 17. 17 minus 8 is? 9. 7 minus 1 is? 3 minus 5 is? Oh, we got to borrow. So we're going to look at the next door neighbor. We got to take 1 away from that 9. It becomes 8. We add 10 to the 3. It becomes 13. 13 minus 5 is?
8.
Good job. 8 minus 1? 8 minus 1? 9 minus 5? 1 minus 0? 1 minus 1? 0. Do I have to write that 0 down? No. Can I?
Yes.
Yes. It doesn't change the value, right? Okay. Did everybody get this? Do you have it written down?
Yes.
All right. So here's what I want to do. That's a long number. We should be able to read that number. We're going to read it together. 1,000,000, with me, 477,869. That's the difference between Japan and United States on the number of automobiles they produce, right? Okay, let's move on to another example. Okay, same chart, different question. How many more cars were produced in Japan than Germany? Do we see those same 3 words that tell us to subtract?
Yes.
Okay, what were those words? What were those words? Say them out loud.
How many more?
How many more? Excellent. How many more? Okay, now we need different pieces of information from the chart. There's words in the problem that tell us which pieces of information we need. Okay? Zara, which pieces of information do we need from the chart? Which countries do we need?
United States and Germany. Japan.
Japan and Germany, right. Japan and Germany. So we're going to make sure that we're looking at Japan and Germany. Okay, Japan and Germany. Okay, our 2 steps. First off, we've got to set up the problem. We have to make sure that our columns have place value above the right place value. 1s above 1s, 10s above 10s. Everyone set your problem up on your notes. Don't subtract yet. Set it up. Let me know when you're ready. All right. Does your problem look like that? Does your problem look like that? Perfect. So we have the ones over the ones, the tens over the tens, and so forth. So now we can start subtracting. Lucy, what numbers are we subtracting first? The 8 and the 4. 8 minus 4 is? 4. 1 minus 5 is? Got to borrow. We're going to borrow from the 5. That makes it a 4. So our 1 becomes 11. 11 minus 5 is? 6. 4 minus 9 is? Got to borrow. If we borrow from the 1, how much is left there? 0. And our 4 becomes? 14. What is 14 minus 9? 5. 0 minus 9? Borrow. So the 1 becomes 0, and the 0 becomes what? 10. What's 10 minus 9? 1. 0 minus 6. We got to borrow again? Okay, so I'm going to take away from the 5, and that becomes a 4. If I take away from the 0, it becomes 10. Or we're adding to the 0. I apologize. That was my mistake. So 10 minus 6 becomes 4. 4 minus 5 is? Oh, we can't do it. We got to borrow from the neighbor, but the neighbor is broke. The neighbor's got nada. How are we going to fix that?
Borrow from the next number.
We got to borrow from the next number. So if I can't borrow from 10 or from 0, I can borrow from 10, can't I? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to mark out the 10. What's 1 less than 10? 9. So instead of 10, I've got 9. Does that make sense? Yes. Now instead of the 4, because I can add to the 4 now, what is it going to be? 14. And 14 minus 5 is? 9. 9 minus 5 is? 4. 0 minus 0 is? 0. I don't have to write that though, right? Okay, so let's read our answer together. 4,941,564. Awesome. Are we getting this? Thumbs up, thumbs down, or in the middle if you're not quite sure? Looking good, looking good. Okay, so now we're going to do an on my own. On my own. I'd like to do these. Every year I've done this, and every year we've sung a theme song for it. You guys want to hear my theme song?
Yes.
Okay, so on my own, first off, I call it OMOs, because on my own is O-M-O. Okay, now, when I do my theme song, this is what I do. Are you ready?
Yes.
Bop, 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 ba-da-da, bop, 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 ba-da-da, bop, 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 ba-da-da. OMO. You guys do this with me? Don't leave me hanging. I want to hear you all. Bop, 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 ba-da-da, bop, 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 ba-da-da, bop, 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 ba-da-da. OMO. Some of you were not singing. Got to do it again. All right, louder. Bop, 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 ba-da-da, bop, 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 ba-da-da, bop, 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 ba-da-da. OMO. Okay, let's look at this problem. We saw this problem sort of yesterday, but some of the words have changed. Myronville School District has 12,081 students, and Saddleton School District has 45,035 students. How many more students are there in Saddleton than in Marionville? What words there are super important? What words there? Say it again, Aiden.
How many more?
How many more? Okay, so I'm going to box that. How many more? Okay, which two pieces of information do I need to have in order to do the problem, Derek?
The numbers.
The numbers, yes. So let's circle those numbers. Okay, this is an OMO. So that means you're doing it on my own. Okay, give it a try now. When you're done, I'll come check your answer. Okay, you should have set up your problem like this, with our place values lined up. Then we begin subtracting the 5 and the 1. 5 minus 1 gives me, anybody?
4.
4, you're right, 4. Thank you for answering. Okay, 3 minus 8, we can't do that, can we? So we have to borrow. We can't borrow from 0, but we can borrow from 50. If I cross out the 50, I get 49 when I take 1 away, which means that I can add 10 to the 3 and have 13. Now I can subtract 13 minus 8. 13 minus 8 is?
5.
Thank you. I had to think about it. 5. 9 minus 0 is 9. 4 minus 2 is 2. And 4 minus 1 is 3. So my final answer for this problem was 32,954. Now you're going to continue with the lesson, and you're going to go back to Google Classroom, get on the slide that says Math Workshop, read the directions word for word all the way through.